Hello, hello, good evening, bonsoir. It depends where you're watching us from. We are definitely glad to be back again tonight with special guest tonight. And thank you guys for joining us from YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere you guys joining us. We are glad to be here again with Empowering You TV. Thank you again, guys. Today we have a very special guest, like I said, Dr. Caroline and also Dr. Jacqueline Lulu Brown. I am very glad these ladies, they're very busy, but they definitely grace us their presence to be here today. So welcome, Dr. Caroline.
Welcome, and I'm gonna practice my other language. So you said bonsoir. So I
I
learned
said
something
bonsoir.
today. So
Yes,
bonsoir, everybody.
yes. And good evening, also, Dr. Jacqueline. How are you?
I am fine. Bonsoir. I'm going to do
Bonsoir.
that as well.
Exactly. Guys, and we want you guys to come in and invite your friend and family. Don't just be here by yourself because again, remember, this community, it's really about sharing. So we share, so they can be able to also to get some nuggets for tonight. Okay. Yeah, I'm very glad that we're here tonight. Like we always do for the show, we have words that we will ask our guest speakers so they can tell us what they think. So we're going to start with Dr. Caroline. Our first word comes to you. It's about what do you hear about the word empowerment? What do you think of that?
Oh my goodness. Okay, unity. That's the first word that comes to my mind when I think about empowerment.
And okay. And Coach Jacqueline, what about you? Empowerment.
Um, Collaboration.
Okay. Our second word is commitment.
Okay, commitment.
Yeah.
The first thing I think about is consistency.
Mm.
Do,
Mhm.
do you mind to elaborate more on that?
So the word was commitment.
Yes.
And I responded by saying consistency because
Mm-hmm.
you have to remain consistent um, when it comes to commitment. You have to commit to being consistent. So that's why that
Mm,
word came to my mind.
good. And Coach Jacqueline, the same word, commitment.
I'm going to say win because the most committed wins. When you're committed, and I give examples that kind of make people, feel a little squeamish sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but I watched a movie with Denzel Washington, and he was an FBI agent, and New York had been bombed, and he was working with a liaison, and they were trying to obviously find the next set of cells with the terrorists. And she
Mm-hmm.
turned around and looked at him, and she said, "Always remember, the most committed wins." And that stuck with me. So commitment, win.
Absolutely. I love that. I love really your response. Commitment is when and consistency. That's really the key. Yeah, absolutely. I think this next word you guys are very familiar with, and I think that's really one of my favorite. It's network.
Mm.
That's Caroline.
First word I think about when you say network, unity.
Yeah, unity. Okay. Coach Jacqueline, network.
Network. The first thing I think about, I'm going to say family.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to say family because networking is very personal for me. And I think it should be more than just casually passing business cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we should network to bond and to develop relationships. And I view relationships, when they're the right relationships, I view them like I do family.
That's right. Our next word is mentorship.
Hmm, mentorship. When I
Mm-hmm.
think about mentorship, legacy. That's the word that comes
Legacy.
to my mind. Legacy.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay.
And
And Coach Jacqueline?
well, being as passionate as I am about teaching, mentorship, I would say teaching.
Teaching. Good. And our last words, which I think that really represents many of us, and that's what we do every day, sisterhood.
Oh, sisterhood. Well, power. That's the word that comes to my mind. Power.
Power.
Sisterhood is
Mm-hmm.
power.
And Coach Jacqueline?
I'm going to say keeper.
Mm.
I am my sister's keeper for real. Not a
Yes.
cliche. I'm going to say
Mhm.
keeper.
Yes. Thank you so much. That was awesome. And the reason why I chose those
I like
words
that.
for us to discuss about, because I've been watching you guys and really, being in the community where, you guys are really pouring to us. That's really what that came to my mind when I just, really see all of the good stuff that you guys are bringing to us in the community. So
Thank
that's
you.
why I chose this word, because definitely there's network, empowerment, sisterhood, mentorship, in every word that you guys are really pouring to us. So that's why I said these are the words that really fit them. So
Oh, thank
can
you.
you,
Thank
we're gonna
you.
start with Coach Jacqueline. If you can be able to talk to us about how did you meet Coach Caroline and how this sisterhood really started with your journey, guys. And then we're gonna go to Dr. Caroline.
Okay. So now I love this. Thank you for asking. I
Yes.
met Dr. Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a post
Yeah.
in a group that she had posted.
Yeah.
And she's working on a project that was near and dear to my passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I normally don't see those types of posts in that particular group. And I was like, okay, I found somebody that is like me. I
Yeah.
found another radical, revolutionary person
Mm-hmm.
that has movements. And I'm going to say movements because I found out she had so many different projects that I was passionate about. And so I inquired and inboxed her. And I asked her to respond with some additional information so that I could share it and so that I could learn more about it. And
Mm-hmm.
she did that. And based on what she described to me, I said, well, you have to meet my niece. Not having any intention that her and I would end up where we are now. I just wanted to have her meet my niece because my niece had a lot of knowledge in an area that she was pursuing. And so
Yes.
I inboxed my niece and I inboxed her and I just brought the two of them together. And they had some conversation and, you get some information and you move on. And then we connected again.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? You've got to have my nephew on your show on Sunday. Again, not connecting or looking for anything that would involve me, but her passion. I got just a person for your show. And
Yes.
it sort of took off from there. So even though I kept introducing her to people, we ended up coming back together and
Mm-hmm.
we ended up embarking on this journey together because we really are, I'm going to say, kindred spirits when it comes to the projects that she's working on.
Wow, that's amazing. And the reason why I started with you because I really wanted to hear, because I know that's what you guys do, especially also for Dr. Caroline. Since I got into the group, to the community, that to me it's very refreshing to see how women really coming together and supporting one another. So that's why I was like, wow, definitely. I need to have Dr. Caroline and especially Coach Lulu, to come together and really explain because that is all about sisterhood,
Yes.
empowerment. And one good thing that I really see that we show up for each other every single time I see Dr. Tanya. I make you guys to Dr. Tanya. So I'm so excited because there's really no room for jealousy or for, I mean, we just don't have time for that. We're here to empower one another. And that's what I love about this community. So, yes, Dr. Carolyn, if you can talk to us about the sisterhood and what so far you have really enjoyed about your relationship with Coach Lulu.
Well, thank you so much for asking, and thank you for starting there. I mean, because for me, that is the
Yeah.
foundation for everything that I've done. Um,
Yes.
so, and that's a book in itself, but I will shorten it for our purposes. Uh, well, Jacqueline has, and Jacqueline. You know what? I love the way people pronounce that because we always screw it up, but that is the right pronunciation. Actually,
Yeah.
we endearingly call her Lulu, so that's what you
Okay.
hear us
Yeah.
say. But
Okay.
she told the story, and that was exactly right. How we met. I posted
Hmm.
in a group that I rarely would go in, but just that day, the book had just come out. I Am a Black Man. I
Hmm.
published that book. Um, she met, she loved it. She loved what we were doing, and as she said, she started introducing me to a whole lot of people, and then we just naturally came together. I mean, it really wasn't a process, we just naturally came together. And I'd like to say something there when it comes to sisterhood about naturally coming together. See, when two women are divinely connected, you see,
Yes.
then you eradicate all of the other city idiosyncrasies and preconceived notions that sometimes as women that we have about each
Hmm.
other. When we can get rid of
Right.
all of that and just come together organically, knowing that we are two women that ascribe to the same purpose, we want the betterment for our community. There is really nothing
Hmm.
else. There's nothing else.
Yes.
And so Lulu and I came together, and we just came together very organically and very naturally. We both had the same heart. We were able to share with each other, be authentic, and still do to this day. I still do. She's my
Yeah.
confidant. I am hers. And so I told her the idea about giving people of color more visibility in media. She immediately said, yes, let's do it. And so thus we ended up with Black House Media Group. But the sisterhood is the power behind the
Yes.
BAC Media Group. Now, I don't want to say that to leave out our men, because we do have a few men on in the media group. But as any
Right.
of us know, the women of any culture is always going to be the movement of whatever is happening in that culture. The women are
Yes.
always going to be the drivers of whatever is going to
Hmm.
happen. And so we created that messenger group. And as you've been in there many times, that's sort of what
Yes.
I call our power base. That's where we come
Hmm.
together, we network, we share ideas, we pray for each other, we encourage each other, because we all have the same motive. All of us want
That's
to be
right.
successful, and we all want each other to be successful. And that's the power of the BHC Media Group. As you alluded to earlier, there is no reason to be jealous, because we all really want the same thing. We may be going about it in some different ways dependent upon our various platforms, but at the end result for all of us is the same. And the thing about the Media Group is this, is that my success depends upon you being successful, and you're
Yes.
successful when I'm successful. So that's really what motivates us to say, hey, as a group, we have to be
Mhm.
successful. So I've got to push my sister, I've got to push my other sister, she has to push me, because collectively we are all successful. Okay. And
Mhm.
we're more powerful when we're all successful. So that's the long and short. I have many stories, but
Yes.
that's kind of the synopsis about how Jacqueline and I, how we operate the BAC Media Group.
That's amazing. I mean, to me, and that's really, really stuck out for me because I'm always being, around, great women, but the sisterhood, that's I haven't really seen quite a bit, but I'm used to that because I grew up in the house where a lot of women, my mom and my grandmother, women who really empower me and really bless me, and today they continue to pray for me. But to me, just to see the sisterhood, it kind of really it made me even feel more comfortable and feel like I was at home. I was not like, oh, I'm kind of new here. I kind of need to know the rules. I really feel like home. I can just come and share with you guys and really get to know one another. And I really love, because I can definitely see that the same thing. Dr. Tanya, she's another connect. I mean, I don't know how many people I met to Dr. Tanya. Like, she's another one that to me, like when we first met, it's just organically, just like you guys said. And that's what I want to really to continue to pass on in every single person I see around me. And I said, this is really about, to me, that's really leadership. And many people, they think leadership is really about the title. Not so much. It's really about really showing up for your people, for your community, but also giving back and really being there to supporting one another. And that's what, the two of you guys are really the reflection of that. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We try.
Oh yeah.
We try.
and it doesn't mean that we don't disagree. We disagree to agree, but with love, with really understanding and really pushing each other, one another, together. That's really what I love about you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm so glad that what we started out to do is
Yes.
being demonstrated. I
Mm-hmm.
would say that we just act, and for us, things are very organic. So
Yes.
we just ended up being able to demonstrate what we have between each other. And that's the best way I
Mm-hmm.
know how to say it. So
Yes.
what you women see in the group and how we network and how we navigate
Right.
with each other is the way personally that Lulu and I work with each other. And like you said, there's never going to be any relationships where you don't have disagreements, because
Right.
we're all
Right.
different people and we all think differently. However, the most important thing to remember, even when you're disagreeing, is to remember love. And
Yes.
Yes.
love is universal. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
what country you're in, doesn't matter
Right.
size, shape. Love is a universal language. And if we as women learn to speak, I want to say not just women, but as leaders,
As
if we
leaders.
learn
Yeah.
to lead with love and if we learn to use love language, you see, just using love language brings people together, because at the
Mm-hmm.
very core of every person's being, we all
That's right.
we all really want one thing at the end of the day. I know people say, well, I want money, I want fame, I want success. But why do you want those things? Because it makes
Right.
you feel good. So at the end
Yeah.
of it, we all want to feel good. We all want to feel loved. And most of all, especially for women, we want to feel safe. And so Lulu and I we strive to create an environment where all the women in the group can feel safe. And that's what's most important, that you can feel safe to share your thoughts and your ideas. You can feel safe about being your authentic you. You can even feel safe to share your problems, because sisterhood is supposed to be the house of safety. You mentioned about your mother and your
Yeah.
aunt and all those great
Mhm.
women that were with you. You know why you
Right.
felt good about that? Because those women kept you safe. We
Mm-hmm.
know Big Mama always represented safety. You could go to
Yeah.
Big Mama's house, grandmother's house, and you could sleep in her bed. Why? Because you felt safe sleeping in her bed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
for women, that is what we need to infuse in everything we do. We need to make other women feel safe.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now, Coach Lulu, I want you really to tell me about when first you guys started the Black House Media Group. How was really the process? Because I know in the beginning, not everybody was there. I was not there. Many of us we were not there. Can you just really tell me about what really hold you guys together? Besides, we talked about sisterhood and love, but how was the birthing process? To birth out that process and that vision. I really want to hear from that.
So I'm going to say that there's one individual
Yes.
that I think we spoke with quite a bit, and that was my husband. I mean, we would run things by him. Dr. Carolyn would get on the phone
Yeah.
and she would just talk like, just sort of just what was coming in her mind and her vision. And she was just so open to just give a brain dump. And he was giving us back, feedback. And it
Mhm.
was kind of like, well, if you want to do this, you're going to need this, 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 and this. But if you want to start here, you could do this. If you want to start here, you could do that. And then from that point, her and I, I'm going to say, we just talked and listened a lot.
Yes.
We just, spoke to each
Absolutely.
other, but we listened to one another. And that's what's
Yeah.
important, because a lot of times when people are bringing something together, we're hearing, but we're not really listening. And
Mhm.
we listened to each other a lot. And we were able to say, okay, so if that's where we're going with this, then
Right.
why don't we try this? Why don't we try that?
Yeah.
And the other piece of it, and this is really Dr. Carolyn, it came together because Dr. Carolyn really didn't sleep for a really long time. And she's not really sleeping now, but I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get that, a little better. So
Yeah.
we're, as
Yes.
you know, we're growing, and we're really trying to actually make sure that we're all doing our part, that we're all doing what we said we were going to do. And I think for her and I, the biggest piece was that both of
Yeah.
us did what we said we were going to do.
Hmm.
If she told me she was going to do something, she did it. If I told her I was going to do something, I did it. And it just started to form and come together. So, did we have the perfect business 101 plan written out? No, we didn't. And I'm not going to tell someone, because every business coach that is listening to this will be like, oh my God, she's
Yeah.
off the rails. I understand business 101. I was in corporate for 40 plus years. So trust me, I get it. And I was at the suite level. So I get all the ins and outs. But there are some things that are divine,
Hmm.
and that we allow our spirit and our core of who we are lead this intellect. And I can't say that enough, is that there are times when there's something down on the inside that's,
Hmm.
I say, scripture says, like fire shut up in your bones.
Yeah.
And I've had that. And I found that Dr. Carolyn had the same thing. And
Hmm.
so as we were moving forward, we just began to let the spirit, that divine part of both of us, lead our intellect and our genius. And when that's leading your intellect and your genius, guess what's not? Ego, attitude, self serving, and fleshly things of the mind. Those things are not leading at all,
Yeah.
because your divine, who you are at your divine core, is
Hmm.
leading your intellect and your genius. We don't have to depend on the books that we read. I'm an avid studier, I'm an educated woman, but at the end of the day, there is no book that I've read, no university I've attended, no coach that I may have invested with, that supersedes when my divine is telling me, let me lead that genius. I use those tools, don't get me wrong. I use those tools, but this down on the inside
Hmm.
is what's leading all that great stuff that's in the brain, all that genius, brilliance, and greatness. It's being
Right.
led. All those tools and resources that I had,
Yeah.
it's being led by the divine in me.
Absolutely. Wow, that's amazing. Now, Dr. Caroline, can you tell us more about the process when you started the book? You wrote a book. I'm a black man and I'm a black woman. Now we definitely that's what we're going to talk about. But how was the process, and where are we today, and how can people can be able to purchase that?
Okay, those are good questions. So the process, really quickly, I'm a therapist, a clinical family therapist here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
After leaving private practice, because I decided that the ideal client that I wanted to help was not able to afford private practice fees. So I went into what was called community therapy. And that's where I contracted with various agencies that pay the fees for people in the community to receive therapy. After 5 years
Mhm.
of doing that, I started to do a little bit of an analysis, and 98% of my clients were African American women. They all had what we call duo diagnoses, meaning that they had two or more different kinds of mental diagnoses. I, unlike some of my colleagues, I did not believe that these people were born that way. I
Mhm.
believe that that a lot of the diagnoses begin to manifest because of the trauma that had taken place in their life. And so I felt like for women of color, they needed something more than just therapy. They needed an opportunity to tell their story in their own words, in the way that they wanted to
Mhm.
tell it. Because unfortunately, here in America, especially, when the media tells your story or other people tell your story, they generally get it wrong. And so I
Yeah,
had never published before. I said, well, the best thing to do is to take these stories and to put it in a book.
that's right.
And so as time would have it, I met my publisher, Darshell McAlpine of Boss Lady Press. She came in and she was more than a publisher, and still is today. She caught the vision. So we got 13 women from all across the country, put them together, and we formed a sisterhood again. And people and women on social media started to see us operating and navigating as a sisterhood. And that's what caught on, and they started calling it a movement, Janine. I did not.
Yeah.
And I was not trying to start a movement. I was going to do the book and go back to work. But I
Right.
had several kinds of things happen in my life,
Mhm.
the loss of my dad and many other things. But after some traumatizing events that happened in my life, I realized that I was mandated to do this book, mostly because I didn't want any woman to ever feel that she was alone. I wanted women to always feel that there is a sisterhood that does exist and you're never alone. You don't have to live your life feeling that you're unsupported. As a businesswoman, you don't have to feel
Mhm.
like you're unsupported. So we did the book. I am a Black woman. That's it there, me and the 13 women, but something else happened. So in the middle of writing this book, Janine, all of the women with their different stories, there was a man involved. He was a negligent father, abusive man, or what have you. And I thought to bring healing to the Black community, I could not have it where women were blaming and accusing Black men. I
Mhm.
wanted Black men to feel lifted, and I wanted them to
Yeah.
heal. So I
Mhm.
said, well, the fairest thing to do is to give men a chance to tell their story. I was a little uncertain how that would go, but
Yeah.
subsequently, some months later, then we published "I Am a Black Man." Okay,
Mhm.
and this book by far has been healing for me. These are some of the
Yeah.
most wonderful, awesome, profound men I have ever met in my life, and they're
Mhm.
very candid about the way that they talk about their trauma and their pain. And I would say to any woman that wants to know more about how a man thinks, you need to go on Amazon.com and you need to get this book. Um, these are just these projects is what led me, what became my career. It's what became
Yeah.
everything I do. I still practice therapy part time, but
Mhm.
the media group and these books, and now it is a movement. It's a movement because we make people move, and that's what a movement
That's
is. Somebody
true.
told me that the other day. So it's called a
Yes.
movement. And so I'm
Mhm.
especially happy because now we're getting ready to produce our third book called I Am a Black Woman, The Next Level. And this is a
Yes.
book written by women who are in business and they get to share
Absolutely.
their story,
Yeah.
but they are also committed to taking other women to their next level.
That's
Lulu
right.
Brown is one of the queen authors, as we call them in the book. Jacqueline also serves, since it is a movement. I put a piece in called ambassadorship. Lulu serves as the I Am a Black Woman International Ambassador, and that is very,
Yeah.
very important because now we want to
Awesome.
bring women from other countries, other cultures.
Yes.
We want to bring them together and we want to form an international sisterhood. Janine, you also help us with the I'm a Black Woman project
Yes,
as our
I
cultural
am.
consultant so that we can learn how to speak the language, so we can learn how to
I
do
am.
business with our sisters in other cultures. So I'm excited about both of you women actually serving as
Yes.
ambassadors for the for the project. But the books, you can actually, because we are revising the book, so you can actually write me. My email is drdr.carolyn21@yahoo.com. You can request
Mhm.
a personally signed book from me, and I will send that to you. You can find me on Facebook at Carolyn Stevens. Just say, I want a book, and I'll make it happen for you. I'll get the book out to you.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And I can't wait for that. With Coach Lulu and you and many of those women, we can be, like you said, it's a movement, and we are here. We're in a mission to empower this lady and to lift them up, because that's it's all about empowering one another and all of us going forward. So I'm very, very excited. I can't wait to be able to bring that across the world, Canada, France, Africa.
Yes.
So I can't wait to start really planning on that. So that's why I really want to just people to hear a little bit about that. And then we're going to come back again when we're going to have more information and just be able to empower people on a different level. Absolutely. Coach Lulu, can you be able to
Awesome.
tell us a few words about you, about the business, about how people can be able so to join, the Black House group, the media group as well? Can you guys hear me? You can
I
mute
I
me.
can, yes.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I was just about to say that, Coach Lulu, if you can tell us how people can be able to join us and support everything that you guys doing at the Black House Group Media.
She might not be able to hear. Let's see.
I think
Oh,
Dr.
Maybe
Carolyn's
there's a
con-
little bit of lag.
it's a little bit of delay. Oh, I was just asking, to be able to wrap up, just asking Coach Lulu, how can people, if she can tell people how to join us at the Black House Media Group and how they can be able to involve in everything that we're doing there.
Sure.
Oh,
So
well, definitely. Okay. I can hear you now. Go ahead.
the first thing you want to do is you definitely want Dr. Carolyn gave you her contact information. You want to either email her, you can
Yes.
inbox her, you can reach out for her on Facebook. One, we have a Black House Media Facebook page, and you can
Hmm.
go and message her directly. You can messenger her on her personal page, which is Dr. Carolyn Stevens, or you can messenger her through Black House Media. There's a little thing there at the top where you can send a message, but you can email her. And I will tell you that Dr. Carolyn is the queen of email. She checks her
I love
email
email.
faithfully. So
Mhm.
you can do that, and I'll give you that again. It's drdr.carolyn21@yahoo.com. And I just can't let everyone know enough. This is different. I'm going to say it again. This is different. So if you want to be part of a powerful movement
Mhm.
that has sprinkles of ministry, entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
serialpreneurship. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different talents, entertainment. There's so many different talents and gifts that are part of the movement, and they're all needed. They're all needed. We
Mhm.
all operate in our gifting, and we all complement each other. And there really is truth to that. It's not a competition. And I hear people say, it really is a competition. It is not. This is different,
No.
folks.
Mhm.
So you want to. It's not how can you.
Yeah.
Make sure that you reach out for Dr. Carolyn.
Mhm. Absolutely. Wow. And Dr. Caroline, any last word before we wrap up? I know this is only the first time, but not the last time you guys gonna come back.
Well, this has been exciting. And thank you so much, Coach Janine, for having us.
Absolutely.
I cannot express enough how passionate Lulu and myself are about the BAC Media Group. We
Yes.
want you to come and be a part, have a platform so you can show the world what you have to offer. But right now, we are so excited about the international connections that we are desiring to make. I want to
Yes.
speak to those of my sisters who are out there listening and my brothers as well,
Yes.
that you're not in the US. Please reach out to us. This is what we want to do. We need shows on our network that are out of the US. We would embrace that. We want to have that. And so please get in touch with us. We'd love to talk with you about helping bring visibility to your business, to your platform. You may be a coach, you may be a mentor, a speaker, or what have you. You have a place in the BAC community, as we like to call it. And so, again, I'm excited about this particular platform and having the opportunity to be able to interview with you, Coach Janine, because we are definitely passionate about going across the waters, whether that be virtually or live in person, and connecting with our sisters and brothers in various other countries.
Absolutely. It's really been a blessing for me to be able to ask you guys to come in so we can be able just to start the first conversation because we have many, many more to come. Because I can't wait for people to know about the show that we're going to be doing, the show that I'm going to be, joining you guys with Umoja, Global
Yes,
Network. So that could be another one. Also, another great opportunity that we're going to be doing in November, which will be with the e-magazine. So I just can't wait for people to see us together, working together, and really bringing the message global. So I'm very excited, and there's really, really more to come, in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. So thank you again, guys, and it was really a pleasure for me to have you guys. Merci beaucoup de se connecter à nous aujourd'hui. C'était aujourd'hui Dr. Caroline et puis avec Coach Lulu, on était en train de parler de leadership et puis surtout les réseaux qu'elles ont avec le network. Donc, je suis vraiment dans la joie de recevoir ces deux dames. So, merci beaucoup. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
thank you. Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.